The words hung in the air like a live wire, and the silence that followed was deafening. Brittany Mahomes didn't just drop a hint, she dropped a nuclear bomb on Blake Lively's carefully curated reputation during what was supposed to be a standard media appearance. It wasn't just gossip. It was a public execution of a friendship that most people thought was rock solid. Within minutes, the clip went viral, and the world watched in real time as the golden girl of Hollywood's elite social circle began to crumble under the weight of the allegations. Blake was reportedly in a total state of shock, realizing that her most private strategies were no longer secret. The fallout was immediate, and the damage was already done. The tension actually started high above the clouds on a luxury jet during a private group getaway in April 2025. While most people in that elite circle keep their mouths shut to protect their status, Brittany reportedly felt she had seen enough of the behind-the-scenes maneuvering. She didn't whisper her concerns. She allegedly spoke them loud enough for the entire first-class cabin to hear. The allegations centered on Blake's behavior toward her co-stars and the calculated way she supposedly navigates her social environment. This wasn't a minor disagreement. It was a full-scale betrayal of the Hollywood code of silence that Blake had relied on for years to keep her public image pristine. Brittany Mahomes was never supposed to be the one to break the seal, but her close bond with Taylor Swift gave her a front-row seat to the internal drama. Over months of private gatherings and shared travel, Brittany observed the group dynamics with a fresh pair of eyes. While Taylor remained loyal to her long-term friends, Brittany allegedly began to feel that certain relationships were more strategic than personal. She saw how narratives were built and how public perception was managed from the inside. According to sources, Brittany grew frustrated with what she viewed as people presenting a false image to the world while influencing events behind the scenes with a heavy and sometimes unfair hand. The timing of Brittany's bombshell couldn't have been worse for the Lively Reynolds household. Just 2 weeks prior, the legal world was rocked when Justin Baldoni filed a $400 million counter lawsuit in Los Angeles. The filing was brutal, accusing Blake of defamation and claiming she fabricated harassment allegations after he rejected her advances. Baldoni's legal team didn't just make claims, they submitted text messages and production emails to support their version of events. This wasn't just a Hollywood spat anymore. It was a high-stakes legal war that threatened to expose every secret hidden behind the closed doors of the Mercer Hotel and various movie sets. One specific incident mentioned in the lawsuit sent shockwaves through the industry. Baldoni alleged that Blake invited him to her private suite at the Mercer Hotel during the second week of filming in November 2024. When he declined the invitation, the narrative allegedly shifted instantly. He claimed that she later told producers he made her feel uncomfortable, a move his lawyers describe as a tactical retaliation for a bruised ego. This revelation painted a chilling picture of how power can be used to silence or discredit those who don't fall in line. For the first time, the public was seeing a version of Blake that was far removed from her charming red carpet persona. The paper trail was even more damaging than the verbal accusations. A leaked email from Blake to her stylist reportedly contained the line, "He is not going to get away with humiliating me." This single sentence became the focal point of online discussions, as it suggested a level of premeditated narrative control. Within 48 hours of this information hitting the public, the internet began a deep dive into every past interview and red carpet appearance Blake had ever done. The conversation shifted rapidly from supporting a perceived victim to questioning if the entire situation was a masterclass in public relations manipulation designed to protect a high-profile brand. Then came the emergence of the so-called dragon comment, which added a bizarre and mythical layer to the unfolding scandal. In the legal filings, it was revealed that Blake reportedly referred to Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds as her dragons. While fans initially thought it was a cute term for loyalty and protection, the legal interpretation was much more cynical. A leaked message from an assistant mentioned Blake summoning the dragons for a meeting to keep everything civil. This led to intense speculation that Blake was using her high-profile friends as a form of social and professional intimidation to ensure that her version of the truth remained the only one the public heard. That January meeting at Blake's Tribeca residence is now being scrutinized as the birthplace of a massive PR strategy. Justin Baldoni's legal team alleged that Taylor Swift was present but appeared visibly uncomfortable when the discussion shifted toward hypothetical misconduct claims. This suggests that the plan to discredit Baldoni might have been in the works months before any formal complaints were ever filed. If true, it means that some of the biggest names in entertainment were potentially being used as pawns in a much larger game of reputation management. The idea that these stars were being gathered to validate a narrative was a bridge too far for many observers. The fallout within the inner circle was swift and brutal. Reports suggest that Taylor Swift felt blindsided when she realized her name was being included in legal documents and tied to such serious allegations. Sources close to the singer claim she has no intention of testifying and wants to distance herself from the legal spectacle as quickly as possible. Taylor has spent years carefully managing her own image, and being labeled a dragon in a defamation lawsuit was not part of the plan. This created a massive rift between the two stars, as Taylor allegedly felt her friendship was being weaponized in a way she never consented to or expected from a close confidant. Ryan Reynolds wasn't escaping the heat either. As one of the most bankable stars in the world, his brand is built on being likable and relatable. However, his name being tied to the Summoning the Dragons message caused internal panic for his team. Reports surfaced that Ryan had his legal representatives reach out to have his name removed from future filings to protect his business interests. While they appear as a united front in public, behind the scenes, the pressure of a $400 million lawsuit was reportedly causing cracks in the foundation. The risk to their shared business ventures, like Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile, was simply too high to ignore. Brittany Mahomes allegedly justified her decision to go public by saying the truth needed to be louder than the headlines. She reportedly stated that if someone is willing to ruin a career over a bruised ego, then the public deserves to know the full story. This stance turned Brittany into an unlikely hero for those who were tired of calculated celebrity narratives. Her comments sparked a wildfire on short-form video platforms, where creators began piecing together fragmented information to show a pattern of behavior. The sentiment was clear: the era of untouchable celebrity power was being challenged by someone who had nothing to lose and a platform to speak. The internet's memory is long, and it didn't take long for people to start digging up Blake's history on the set of Gossip Girl. Her off-screen relationship with Penn Badgley was revisited with a new lens, as old industry rumors about on-set tensions began to resurface. Commentators pointed out that professional chemistry and marketing strategies often masked a much more complicated reality behind the scenes. The narrative that Blake was a strategic mastermind wasn't new, but it was being reinforced by every new leak and court document. What used to be seen as being a savvy businesswoman was now being reinterpreted as being cold and calculated. Even her high-profile relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio back in 2011 was brought back into the spotlight. Fans began to analyze the timing of that romance and how it overlapped with her rise to superstardom and her work on Green Lantern. The pattern of personal and professional overlap seemed to be a recurring theme in her career. Some analysts suggested that Blake has always been highly skilled at navigating Hollywood environments, using her relationships to bolster her public standing. While this is common in the industry, the current scandals made every past move look like part of a larger, more cynical game of social chess. Evidence of the current strain was visible to anyone paying close attention at the Deadpool 3 press launch. Blake and Ryan were photographed together for the mandatory shots, but they reportedly spent the majority of the event in separate areas. Observers noted that Ryan seemed much more engaged with his co-star Hugh Jackman than with his wife. This was a stark contrast to their usual playful and affectionate public persona. The separation at such a high-profile event fueled rumors that the legal drama was taking a heavy toll on their marriage. When the cameras weren't flashing, the smiles reportedly disappeared, replaced by a palpable tension. The Met Gala in May 2024 was another red flag that fans couldn't ignore. For years, Blake and Ryan were the undisputed royalty of the event, always appearing together in coordinated looks. But this year, Blake attended without her husband, a move that set the gossip world on fire. While she appeared composed and glamorous for the cameras, the solo appearance was interpreted as a sign that things were far from perfect at home. Sources suggested that the couple was focused on their shared commercial identities and business ties, which made a public split almost impossible due to the complex financial consequences it would trigger for their brands. As the situation escalated, leaked voice notes and private conversations began circulating in the darker corners of the internet. These recordings, though unverified, allegedly featured industry insiders discussing Blake's working style in less than flattering terms. The hashtag campaigns against her started trending, with users archiving old content to prove their theories of manipulation. It became a digital archaeology project, where every past mistake or awkward interview was used as evidence. The speed at which the public perception shifted from admiration to intense scrutiny was a testament to how fragile a celebrity's reputation can be in the digital age. The legal documents also touched on how public manipulation claims were part of a broader strategy. Baldoni's team alleged that Blake was preparing her narrative responses months before any formal complaint was even on the table. This kind of forward-thinking PR is often seen as brilliant, but in the context of a misconduct claim, it looked like a way to silence a potential dissenter. The public began to wonder if the accusations of being uncomfortable on set were actually the result of a focus group or a strategy session, rather than a genuine experience. This doubt was the most damaging part of the entire scandal for Blake's brand. For Brittany Mahomes, speaking out was a way to break away from the curated world of the ultra-famous. She reportedly felt that the influence these celebrities wield over the public is often based on a lie. By sharing what she knew, she effectively blew the whistle on a system designed to protect the powerful at the expense of the truth. Her actions forced a conversation about the difference between a celebrity's private reality and their public image. It was a rare moment where someone from the inside chose truth over status, and the repercussions are still being felt across social media platforms where the debate continues to rage. The industry's reaction has been one of cautious distancing, casting rumors that once connected Blake to major upcoming projects have reportedly cooled off as studios wait to see how the lawsuit plays out. Nobody wants to be tied to a $400 million legal battle involving accusations of defamation and fabricated claims. The risk to a film's marketing campaign is too great when the lead actress is facing such a massive public relations crisis. Blake, who was once the first choice for every high-profile role, now finds herself in a position where she has to fight to prove she isn't a liability to the project she touches. Social media analysts have noted that this story grew through repetition and the sheer shock value of the betrayal. Viral stories like this often take on a life of their own, where facts and speculation become indistinguishable. However, the presence of court documents and specific emails gave this controversy a level of credibility that most celebrity rumors lack. It wasn't just a blind item on a gossip blog, it was a series of documented events that painted a consistent picture. This consistency is what made it so difficult for Blake's PR team to shut down the narrative, as they were fighting against tangible evidence rather than just whispers. The phrase "summoning the dragons" will likely follow Blake for the rest of her career. It has become a shorthand for celebrity entitlement and the use of fame as a shield. Even if she wins the legal battle, the court of public opinion has already reached a divided verdict. The idea that she viewed her powerful friends as weapons to be deployed in a personal dispute has soured her image for many long-term fans. It revealed a side of Hollywood that most people find distasteful, the idea that the truth is something to be managed and controlled, rather than simply told and respected by everyone involved. In the end, this entire saga highlights the extreme volatility of fame in the modern era. A reputation that took decades to build can be dismantled in 48 hours by a single lawsuit and a well-timed comment from an insider. Blake Lively, once the untouchable queen of the red carpet, now serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of over-curating a public image. When the gap between the persona and the reality becomes too wide, it only takes one person like Brittany Mahomes to pull back the curtain and let the world see what's really going on behind the scenes of the most famous people. As the legal proceedings move forward, the world remains fixated on the next leak or bombshell testimony. This isn't just about one actress or one movie set anymore, it's about the accountability of the most powerful people in entertainment. Whether Blake can ever truly explode back into the public's good graces remains to be seen, but the landscape of her career has been permanently altered. The dragons have been summoned, the secrets have been spilled, and the truth is finally louder than the headlines. The industry will never look at the Lively-Reynolds power couple the same way again, and the fallout is far from over.